Section 2.5 deals with graphing linear inequalities. Remember, when we graphed linear inequalities on a number line, or graphed regular inequalities on a number line, nonlinear, we dealt with open and closed circles, where if it was greater than or less than, it was an open circle. If it was greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to, it was a closed circle. Now we're graphing linear inequalities, which is on a coordinate grid. And if it's greater than or less than, the line of the graph is going to be dashed because it doesn't include the line itself as a part of our solution. However, if it's a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, that line of the graph will be solid. And as always, remember that if you multiply or divide by a negative number when solving for y, don't forget to flip the inequality symbol. So if we take a look at this first example, we have y is less than x plus 5. Our first step is going to be to graph y equals x plus 5, but we have to make sure we determine if the line is solid or dashed. In our particular situation here, I see that we have y is less than. So that means it's going to be a dashed line. So I'm going to graph y equals x plus 5, which has a slope, has a y-intercept of 5 and has a slope of positive 1. And I need 3 points. So there's my 3 points, and now when I make my line, it's going to be dashed. The nice part about doing this on Notability is if you forget it's dashed and remember later, you can erase out little parts. It's not as convenient as if you're doing it paper pencil, but it does work. And you do need to make the line go all the way to the edges of the graph, whichever angle it's at, so that way you don't forget that you need to make sure you have that. Now, step 3 is going to be, you're going to test points above and below the line. Whichever one produces a true statement, that is the side of the line to be shaded. So what we're going to test, I'm going to test 0, 0 and 0, 10 because they're easy ones to work with. And they're going to make our lives a whole lot easier. So we've got y, which is 0. Is that less than 0 plus 5? Well, 0 is less than 5, so that is true. Let's double check to make sure this one works as well. And we have 10 is less than 0 plus 5, which 10 is not less than 5. Therefore, 0, 0, where it is where we want to shade. So I'm going to make my life easier. I'm going to use a highlighter to shade. And I'm going to shade everywhere where 0, 0 is encompassed, which is all of this part of the graph. You don't have to fill it in perfectly, but I always like to outline it because it makes your life easier when it comes to shading. Taking a look at the next example, we have y is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 6. So I see here in this situation that I've got greater than or equal to, so I know I will have a solid line. And so I know my y-intercept is 6. And I have a negative 2 slope, so down 2, forward 1. Down 2, forward 1. And go ahead and connect my line with a solid line, and I should really have a much better line than that. I need to make it go all the way down, and I'm actually going to try that again to make my life easier with it looking nice. Oh, let's try that one more time. I apologize. Make my solid line. Now I need to test 2 points. I'm going to use 0, 0 and 10, 0, 10 again. because they're on either side of the line. So if I use 0, 0, I get 0 is greater than or equal to negative 2 times 0 plus 6. So that means that 0 should be greater than or equal to 6, which is not true. So let's double check 0, 10 to make sure we did it right. We should get 10 is greater than or equal to 6, which is true. Therefore, when I go ahead and shade, I'm going to include the part that has 0, 10, which is everything over on this side. And we are good to go.